You're listening to The Portfolio Composer, hosted by me, Dr. Garrett Hope, where business and creativity go hand in hand. Join us at theportfoliocomposer.com for news, talks, and workshops. This episode is brought to you by Dorico, the music notation software from Steinberg that's designed to save you time. Dorico 4, Steinberg's latest major version of music notation and composition software for Mac OS and Windows, is packed with powerful new features that are designed to accelerate your workflow and make it quicker and easier than ever to go from inspiration to finished product. If you're a composer, arranger, or orchestrator, you'll be delighted by the sophisticated new tools on offer. And there are improvements across the whole application, whatever your focus. For more information and to download a free 30-day trial of Dorico 4, visit www.steinberg.net/TPC. This episode is sponsored by Found, the all-in-one banking service ideal for freelancers. Go to theportfoliocomposer.com/found to set up your free account today. Hello, and welcome to episode 253 of the Portfolio Composer podcast. I'm your host, your coach, and your teacher, Garrett Hope. Today is a really fun episode because it's one where my good friend, collaborator, and colleague, Dr. Heidi Kay Begay from the Flute 360 podcast and from the Pivoting Musician podcast interviewed teacher and entrepreneur Glory St. Germain. Last year, Glory was one of the UMBS presenters, and she's going to be another presenter this coming year. And UMBS is only about 6 weeks away as I record this. And we spend today talking about the value of investing in improving your business and why it's so important for you to begin wrapping your head around the fact that you really are a business and some of the benefits that happen when you do that. Glory started as a piano teacher. Her husband is also a musician, and she has now grown a 7-figure business helping other teachers teach students well. She has online classes, the whole kit and caboodle. She's the real deal. I think you're going to get a lot out of this episode. And do not hesitate. Do not wait. Go to musicsummit.biz and get your ticket today. I will see you at the Music Business Summit. Hey, Glory. Welcome to our podcast episodes.
I'm so excited. Thank you for inviting me, Garrett and Heidi. It's always a blast. I love chatting with you too, and I'm super excited to be one of the presenters in this amazing event that you guys have put together. So yeah, fill us in. What's the big plan, Garrett?
Well, we just wanted to talk to you today because we're super excited about the Ultimate Music Business Summit, and we are grateful that you're one of our presenters again because you brought so much value last year, and we know that you're going to just smash the ball out of the park one more time. So we thought that we would just spend this time getting people excited about the summit and the value that they can expect to get out of it. But we also want to hear from you as a presenter. Where do you think the value is, and all of the reasons why people who are building teaching studios or are performing or are in school, why they should come to the summit? Heidi, do you want to add to that?
I totally agree with everything you're saying. First and foremost, thank you for being here, Glory. Second, I always learned so much from you. Last week, we spoke for 90 minutes because you were just spilling out information and knowledge into my earbuds. And because of that, just that shows me what kind of gracious and giving heart you have. And that's one of the reasons why we wanted you to be a presenter again. Not only are you an expert in your field, but you are a dear friend and you give so much of yourself. And because of that, it shows. So for us to be here in this space with you is just so amazing. And I can't wait to continue to learn from you. So thank you.
Oh, well, thank you, Heidi. And, you know, one of the things I loved about the summit last year, I mean, yes, I was a presenter, but I was also there as a learner. And I think once you say, oh, I know everything, then you're done, right? I am a forever student. I'm coachable. I love to learn every day, and I love to share because there's one thing that I found to be true, and that's if you can learn from an expert, you're going to get there so much faster than if you take that long and winding road. I think there was a song about that. And you take that long and winding road to get to your destination. It's not even fun, right? But if you can connect with others, I mean, if I would have known 10 years ago what I know now, you can grow your business so fast right now. One of the things that I'm talking about is how to grow, a multiple six-figure business. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. But you've got to have the tools. Like, what's going to get you there? And if you just implement these action steps, it's going to be amazing. And one of the great things about your event, number one, it's there for everyone. Everyone, no excuse. You don't have to say, well, I don't have a babysitter, or I can't get on a flight, or, I can't drive over there. And it is just a must have. So thank you again for putting it together, because you've got great presenters. Like, it's such a melting pot of ideas. And my suggestion is this: get a notebook, get a journal, and shut everything else off and come with an open mind. Come to learn, because it's going to be magical. And if you don't walk away with one brilliant idea, I will buy you a caramel macchiato. So there you go.
Ooh, challenge accepted. All right. Hey, so I have multiple avenues I kind of want to walk down here. You opened many doors. And the first one I want to talk about is price resistance. Because you say, you know what? I'm laying out the steps on how to build a multiple six-figure teaching studio. And we both know people who are like, yeah, right, whatever. Like, that's not true. You can't make six figures in teaching music.
Yeah.
What's your response to that?
Okay, I got a great response for that. If you think you can or you think you can't, either way, you're right.
Henry Ford, that's right.
And if that is your closed mindset, one of the things I talk about and I teach in our Ultimate Music Theory Teachers Academy is about mindset. And I have the mindset, am I going to hit my 7 figures, 1.5 million? Of course I am. Why do I say that with such confidence? Because number one, I set goals. And number two, I implement strategies. Number three, I'm working with a coach who's going to get me way beyond, what I set out to do. But you have to be open to learning. And one of the key factors in anything in growing a business is you have to have confidence in yourself, which we also talk about, because the other thing too is you only have so much decision brain space, I'll say, right? And one of the things, and I love reading, I'm always learning, and one of the books I'm reading right now is about question thinking. And question thinking is, if you think, and that was such a great question, Garrett, because if you think, oh, that's impossible, I can't do that. My question is, well, what have you tried in order to implement that? And when you're teaching your students or when you're dealing with business, and so often, and I know this is true, I'm sure you've experienced it, is that musicians don't think of themselves as a business.
No, they do not.
And that's one of the biggest mistakes, is that you are a business. You're an independent business owner. You got to pay your taxes, you've got write-offs, and you have to treat yourself as a business. And if you don't learn these steps in running a business, and the universe only gives you what you can handle. So if you can't manage your, $50,000 or $60,000 a year, the universe isn't going to give you 150 because you can't even manage 60. So let's get you to profitability in your business. That's number one, how to make money and be profitable.
I love it. And you know what? You are preaching our song, and we love it. That's one of our big themes for this year, is that you are a business.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
100%.
Another thing you brought up repeatedly so far is the idea of having a coach. And we all coach other people, but we've also hired and invested multiple thousands of dollars into coaching, and it's completely transformed my business and my life. And, those two are integrated. And I also see a lot of people who scoff at the idea of coaches. I think I saw on Twitter at one point, they said, coaching is the MLM, the multi-level marketing of the music world. And it's just like, you either probably haven't encountered a really good coach, and you don't believe it's going to make a difference. And that right there is the start of the problem.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Garrett, because here's one thing too. Very often if you think of yourself a musician and you think of an athlete, well, Tiger Woods, who obviously most people, if you're on planet Earth, know Tiger Woods is a golfer, very famous. He stands out from the crowd, and he's always had a coach, even though he's number one. He still has a coach, and he's number one. Why do you have a coach? And I can tell you this: in my business, when I first got a coach, I got a 6-figure coach who took me to 6 figures. But then I went past my coach. And I had to get a 7-figure coach because that's where my business was going. And just as you are, and I'll use, for example, a music teacher. When I first started teaching, Heidi and Garrett, I, was limited with my knowledge. I had grade 8 piano when I was a teacher, but I found that my students were passing me. So I had 2 choices. I either had to give them to someone else, which I did because I was only 16 years old, and then I went on and continued with my education so that I could teach those higher level students. And that's the same with coaching. If you're not going to get a coach, your business isn't going to grow, and you are a business owner. And I think the number one thing that I teach as a coach, and I am a business coach, is I teach you how to not only make 6 figures, but how to be profitable. Because we all know, just, open the newspaper, and there are multiple 7-figure businesses that go under. They lay off employees, they can't make it, and they don't have profitability. So just because you're making $1 million a year doesn't mean that you're making money. It just means that that's what's the revenue. But what's the most important thing is that you're profitable. So that's one of the things that we teach in our academy is how to make 6 figures, but how to be profitable so that you're continuing to grow and learn. And like you, Garrett, I spend thousands of dollars a month on my coach, but you know what? She's worth it. Yeah.
It really does make a difference. Go ahead, Heidi.
I love that about hiring a coach to come alongside you to help you along that journey, because you're right. Like, one of the things as Garrett and I were going through discovery calls and figuring out people who would be a good fit for the pivoting musician and that course, we heard a lot of pushback, right? And one of the things I remember saying, and Garrett backed me up on this, was I told said person, and Garrett, like, when I think of the seasons in my life where I've invested in myself, my business, I came to that conclusion of, yes, I need to hire this person because I can't afford not to.
Yes.
Because I will just be stuck in that same spot over and over again if I don't get somebody who's at level 3, level 4, where I'm at 100%. Level 2. And if I'm just sitting there and not investing in myself, then I'm okay with being dormant then. And I'm not okay with that. I want to see progression. So I just love everything you said. And that's something I wanted to add to it, just because I remember telling Garrett, I can't afford not to invest.
100%. You kind of make me smile, Heidi, because I had a conversation with my coach just a few days ago. So I talked to her for 30 minutes, $500, 30 minutes, $500. She saved me $30,000 in a business decision that I was going to make. And I sent her a little Voxer, and I said, $500 for 30 minutes, but you saved me $30,000. So thank you. Right? Because this is, and I'm just using, one example, because you can do exactly what you said, Heidi, and anyone. And I'm not preaching to the choir. I'm just saying, I know what works. And if you look inside our Ultimate Music Theory Elite Educator Program and all of the members that we have in our community that, are in our coaching program, are they making money? Are they successful? Absolutely. One of my clients, Mark, increased his revenue by 60%. Another one of my educators, we're now in 37 countries, and Ken Lim, he's in Singapore, and he's like, I increased my business by 30%. And I love that they're now saying I increased my business by 30%, right? There's different streams of revenue that you can generate too. Yes. So it's fun. Like, what a great time to be in business, right? Online teaching, you can teach groups, you can teach private, you can teach hybrid, like, oh my God, the world is your oyster. There's never been a better time to be in this industry and collaborate with 2 amazing people, such like, Heidi and Garrett. Like, you're in the right place. Whoever's listening, you're in the right place.
Well, you should definitely come to Glory's presentation. Then you're going to be in the right place. So I had a thought here while you were talking that seems to be in line with this thread. So people can come to the website, musicsummit.biz, and they can look at our list of presenters and the presentations. And there are definite business-oriented strategies and how to get started, and lots of things like yours about how to build a successful studio. And each one's taking a different tack on it. But there's also multiple presentations about the mindset issue and the belief issue. And we always encounter in our coaching practices clients who think, oh, just tell me what I need to do to keep my books straight, or like give me the two MBA nuggets.
Yeah.
And I want to hear from you why it's so important to conquer the mindset at the same time you're working on these strategies.
Yeah. One of the things that I've really worked on in my own business is reading. I do a lot of reading, a lot of research, but also this is the number one thing, and that is implementation. And not only implementation, but speed of implementation.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that has, grown me exponentially has been to take what I've learned and implement it. So when you come to this Ultimate Music Business event, this summit is gold. And the number one thing you want to walk away with is implementation strategies. For those of you taking notes, write that down. Implementation strategies. Because when I first discovered the 5 principles of financial wealth, which is something that I go into great detail in our courses, but one of them is that you need to have 5 bank accounts as a business. And one of them needs to be a 1% profit. Now, 1% is nothing. I mean, you won't even notice that it's missing. But when I look at my 1% and see multiple zeros after it, I'm like, wow, yes, I've hit over $1 million, because look at the 1% that's in that bank account that I never touch. Right? So if you just put 1% away and forget about it, it's done. Another one is that you want to make sure you're putting tax money away, and you want to have a freedom account, and you want to have one operating account. Like, this is part of being a business. And I don't care if you're making $40,000 a year or you're making $2 million. You have to have that structure. And the earlier you start, the more successful your business will be. And speed of implementation. Just dive in.
This episode is brought to you by Dorico, the music notation software from Steinberg. Dorico Pro 3 is a major new version with game-changing advances in note input, notation, and engraving. Also available from Steinberg is Dorico Elements, an entry-level application that packs all of the essential power of Dorico Pro into a simple, streamlined package that is ideal for those getting started. Find out more later in the show.
My name is Joseph Soa, and I'm a professional composer and founder of the Wizarding School for Composers, where I teach other composers and musicians to write powerful music with ease. Dorico saves me so much time. I often joke that one of the other programs in particular is a kind of copyist job employment security, just because of how much time it takes to make parts and to fiddle with little details that all you have to do in Dorico is check a checkbox. The biggest thing I like about Dorico is how much you can do from the keyboard. As a result of that, Dorico enables you to put in music and edit music so quickly. I love the fact that I can select multiple staves and input notes into multiple staves all at one time. That's a ton of fun and saves me time. I think the big thing about version 4 that gets me really excited is all the workflow improvements. Taking the processes of me putting the music and me editing the music and making it even faster and even more flexible. One of the things I'm particularly excited about the new version is the note transformation tools, just the ability to rotate and invert and rearrange different musical materials. It's just making Dorico into the most powerful, not just notation software, but composing software. I think that's, to my mind, what stands out head and shoulders above the other programs, is just the flexibility and the naturalness that Dorico enables you to compose and not just notate your music. I would 100% recommend Dorico to anyone. Dorico is the fastest and most powerful scoring program on the market right now. Another thing that I absolutely love about Dorico and the whole team that they have is just they're so easy to get a hold of, and they give such great support, not only in the official documentation and videos, but also through social media channels. So it's just a fantastic community, and that support makes learning the program much easier than it would have been.
To download a free 30-day trial of Dorico 4, visit www.steinberg.net/TPC. Part of my coach training involves the coactive method. I don't know if you're familiar with coactive coaching, but one of the best definitions says a good coach deepens the learning and furthers the action. And it's that speed of implementation, the actually doing it, that makes all the difference.
100%.
Yeah.
And isn't that true with what we expect as educators from our students? You come to me for a piano lesson. I'm expecting you to practice, not next week, but as soon as you get home. Because I remember when I was working on my music degree, my teacher said to me, the most important day to practice is lesson day, not the next day or the day after, but lesson day, when it's all fresh in your mind. So when you go to catch one of the sessions and all of the sessions, number one key is implement something, like anything, and also to share it, right? When you come into the summit, learn and then reiterate. What did you learn, and tell someone? Because to me, if I learned something, when I went and watched your session the other day again, Garrett, remember I sent you a little email and I went, I'm just going to check that out again, because you are so generous with not saying, oh, by the way, if you don't attend live, then you're missing everything. But you do have an opportunity to go check it out, right? And make sure that you go back and watch them again. So that's a great thing that you provided. Yep.
Oh, thanks. It's really important to us. And it was to me when we created it, that depending on someone's budget, that they have the ability to go and keep furthering the learning and the action taking. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yep.
Yeah. So can you tell us a story about how UMBS has transformed your business, both as a student and as a presenter? Have you made any connections, or what's happened from that?
Absolutely. 100%. I was absolutely thrilled. So first, as a learner, I came in there with an open mind. I loved going through the sessions and just little tweaks, how to appear on camera. Like there was things that were interesting because I'd never thought about them, right? So what is your background? How can you sit a little tall? Like all these little things. So first of all, I loved being a student and I loved your sessions, and it was like just engaging. Like I said, I actually went in there and went, I'm just going to watch that one again. So I love that aspect of it. As a presenter, it was amazing to connect with people that I would have never met before. And because of this offering to, come and present, I got to connect with teachers who actually are signing up for my program. And they said, I would never have even known about you, Glory. I mean, now I know, oh, wow, you've written over 50 books in music theory education, and you've got the Ultimate Music Theory certification course. You have all these things. I didn't know about that until I came to this summit. And they connected with me. They booked a call with me, had a discovery call, and signed up for the program. So I want to say thank you for that. And it's really exciting to see how we can meet people that we've never met before just by being present and knowing that we're there to serve. I'm there to just share my knowledge and give you a couple of shortcuts. And, if they work for you, then that's fantastic. So, yeah.
That's great. So what are you looking forward to for specifically the 2023 summit? Is there something that is catching your eye, something you're really pumped up about? Tell us about that.
I think the thing that I'm most excited about for the 2023 is taking on, I think, the next level of business.
Okay.
Because when we think, I think when we look back, people were catching their breath, recovering. We were all panicking about, pandemic, this and that. And we were just dog paddling our way out of, for some of them, never having been online in their life. And everything was new. But now we're done with that. Now we're like, oh, we can actually grow our business. We can actually network. We can actually create a podcast. Heidi and I have been talking for a while, like it's coming, right? It's coming. We're working on that. That's a 2023 project. And so come to learn. But I think this one, I'm most excited about the next level of growth that you have provided with all of these speakers to say, okay, we've caught our breath. Whew, now let's start to implement this process. So come to learn, but come to implement, because the sky is the limit. And if you think you can, you can. So just keep that mindset, because one of the things that I teach a lot is mindset structure. And that is really the key. Some people think they're imposter. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but so many times and it's where question thinking comes in. As I'm coaching too, people say, well, I don't have the confidence. I say, well, what would it look like for you if you did? And they go, well, if I did have the confidence, and then they, go into this imaginary world. And I'm saying, but what if? Right? What if you could? What would that look like? What would you do with the extra money? What would that feel like for financial freedom? I live a freedom business. I love what I do. I'm a bit of a workaholic, but that's because I love what I do. So
yeah,
it's kind of fun.
No, and that's a great segue into our UMBS 2023 theme, and that's to leap. So whether you're leaping into being a musicpreneur for the first time or leaping into another stage of your business, then the summit is for you. And that's exactly piggybacking off of what Glory just said. We've laid out the foundation. We're starting to see momentum. We're starting to thrive. And then now we get to leap to another stage, another tier within our business. And that is exciting, because as 360 is growing, as your business is growing, Glory, and as TPC is growing, it's very exciting to be in this place, because you get to see your hard work starting to pay off. And it's because we get to come together as a community and learn and grow from each other. And that's something that I'm super proud of, in the sense of UMBS and the community and the network that we are building together. Yeah.
And I think to add on to that wonderful leap is also attitude. When you come into and realize we're not in competition here. We're here to support each other. I am here just to learn and to support. And it's not a contest. There's a million musicians that all want to learn. There's so many opportunities. Like, I never think of that. As a matter of fact, 3 of my best friends all live within walking distance from me and are all music teachers. And we used to pass students back and forth and, make sure our schedules were aligned so that if somebody couldn't make a Tuesday, they could make a Wednesday with a different teacher. We're best friends. And I think when you come as a musician and know that you can leap higher and faster by gaining the knowledge that you're going to learn and develop relationships. Years ago, we used to have those questions. Oh, are you B2B or are you this to this? B2B meaning business to business. And I'll tell you what the secret is. We are H to H, which is human to human. And that is the cosmic connection, that it's like harmony, right? You need to make sure to connect that. And that's what it's all about. And I can't wait to leap into 2023 with you guys. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing.
It is going to be amazing. So before we start wrapping this up, I want to make sure every listener knows, go to musicsummit.biz. That's musicsummit.biz. You can view all the presenters, you can see the schedule, and you can get your tickets. And like last year, it's going to be held on the Run the World platform, which is an online conferencing app. And it allows us to have multiple presentations happening at a time. There is real-time chat, just like in your Zoom window, but there's also an instant message function, so you can message anyone that's there at any time. And if you get the VIP ticket, you then get to join the presenters in a question and answer time after they've done their presentation. And that alone is worth the price, because you then get to ask implementation strategies and questions for your situation. But you also then, like we said earlier, get access to the recordings. And the VIP ticket is only $197. And Glory, I've been telling people this for the last couple of weeks, but what is one lesson worth with your favorite or the best teacher you can think of for 1 hour? And one woman even said $500. And I said, well, right now you can get 30 lessons and it's going to be about $6 a lesson.
Yeah, that's insane. It's,
right?
Honestly, to me, the VIP is not an option. That's a must-have. That's a must-have. Like, to get this knowledge, all of this from different speakers as well. right?
Mhm.
It's such a blessing. Like a thank you, because I'm there to learn. I can't wait. I'm coming as a student, And the other thing that I love about the VIP, and I mentioned how we had a number of people signing up for our program, they actually were VIP inside the Ultimate Music Business Summit, and they had that chance to connect, right? So it's really important to come show up live, because that's when the connection is really there. The replays, you've got access to them, which is fantastic. But I love the live interaction, just as the three of us are hanging out today. It's so much fun, right? And when you can participate in the Q&A after the event, that's when the magic happens. It's the secret. It's kind of like being backstage. It's always fun to hang out with the big kids in the back room.
Yep. Yeah.
Come to the green room. Let's really check it out.
Yeah. Well, the one time I met Philip Glass was in a green room situation after a concert, and it was just, it is magical. It's that thing.
Yeah.
Let's also talk about the ability to network, because we have these speed networking situations.
Yes.
We have an incredible keynote presenter, Melissa Caballo, who owns Dead Horse Branding based in Nashville. So our keynote presenter she'll be talking about the principles of branding yourself and why it's so important to build your business right now. And then we are, for the first time, implementing some plenary sessions. So we're going to start and end with some group time together. And that's where Heidi's just going to lay down the law and tell you everything you got to do. I love throwing Heidi under the bus like that.
Yeah. I hope you're planning on having a dance party, though. You're going to play some music, right?
We can make that happen. There is the after party after the keynote, where people are going to go hang out, and we're going to last year it worked out because we had these round tables, and you can come and go from small groups of people and just have conversations and meet the keynote presenter and talk and build relationships so that new opportunities come out of it. And Heidi and I have spoken to multiple people like yourself who have created new performances, new collaborations, and new business opportunities through people they've met at the summit.
Yeah.
So as we wrap this up, tell the listeners, Glory, what's the number one reason that they need to come? I know we've talked about a lot, but what's the number one?
The number one reason is that if you are really passionate about your dream lifestyle, what you want, and how you can serve other people and grow as an artist and as a business owner, you need to attend this event as a VIP. Number one, this is gold. And as I said, if you don't learn anything, I'll buy you a caramel macchiato, because you're going to learn, and it's going to be brilliant. And thank you again, Garrett and Heidi. I can't wait to learn and to present as well. So thank you.
And you know what? If anyone didn't catch it, go back and listen to the way Glory said the word process, because she's a Canadian and I'm married to a Canadian, and it's not process. So that caramel macchiato better come from Tim Hortons. That's all I got to say.
No, it's a Starbucks. It's a Starbucks.
I know, but Tim Hortons is way better than Starbucks.
Well, I thought I was trying to go cross-border, but there is a Tim Hortons in New York, because when I was in New York, I was staying at the hotel, and my daughter said, "Oh, let's go get a Tim's." And I went, "Oh, there's a Tim's here." And my daughter Sherry is a music producer, and so she travels between LA and Vegas and New York and Nashville. And so I'm always just hanging out and enjoying life on the road as a musician.
Oh, it's a good time. Yeah, I think there's a Tim Hortons somewhere in Minnesota also. They're half Canadian up there anyway.
Yeah, they are.
Glory, thank you so much for your time. We are thrilled that you are part of the summit, and I'm truly looking forward to watching your presentation.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to it as well. Thanks, Garrett. Thanks, Heidi.
All right.
Thank you, Glory.
This episode of The Portfolio Composer was brought to you by Dorico 4, the most advanced music notation software ever created. Dorico was designed to save you time and gives you the tools you need to produce beautiful and readable scores fast, so you can spend less time fiddling with menus and rules and more time doing what you love, making music. Now you can take Steinberg's music notation and composition software with you wherever you go with Dorico for iPad. Whether you're a composer, arranger, instrumentalist, teacher, or student, Dorico is the ideal app for producing beautiful sheet music that you can share as a PDF or music XML, or print directly to your AirPrint-enabled printer. Dorico for iPad is available now in the App Store. Learn more at www.dorico.com/iPad. You can also try the full version of Dorico out for 30 days for free by downloading the trial version at www.steinberg.net/TPC. Try it today. This episode is sponsored by Found, the all-in-one banking service ideal for freelancers. Found features everything the small business owner needs, including generating and sending invoices, sending payments, automatic bookkeeping, setting aside a percentage for taxes, and detailed income, spending, and profit and loss reports. You get all of this with no account fees, minimum required balances, or credit checks. It's the perfect banking solution for freelancers like you. I was able to set up my account in minutes. It's painless and the interface is fantastic. I'm particularly pleased with how easy it is to access everything I need from the app. They even send you a business debit card right away. They're FDIC insured just like the big banks, but without any of the big bank headaches. Go to theportfoliocomposer.com/found to set up your free account today.